Welcome to another Stitch Diaries. Now I'm bringing this video in a slightly different location today, and it's just because I've been feeling a bit unwell and I feel a bit cold and it's just a bit warmer in my bedroom, and I've actually filmed another video before this one. I've filmed a doll diary video. That's why my hair is probably looking a little bit fancy today, because I was unboxing a Barbie doll that came with a hair gadget, not for humans, but I've got the same hair gadget. So I was basically playing with doll hair basically. So that video will be going live on YouTube soon. But this video is all about the Stitch Diaries. So if you're interested in sewing, knitting and crochet, there might be something that interests you. So today I'm going to be showing you things I'm working on, things I've finished, and basically plans and things like that. So now you might spot a little somebody next to me. Now I am a huge Lunar Lapping fan, which you may already know this. I'm Claire, by the way, if you don't know already. I'm a huge Lunar Lapping fan, and Lunar Lapping is a pattern, a stuffed rabbit pattern basically by Sarah Peel, and Luna's got her own books. She's got a series of books and many friends and things now. Now one of her friends is Hamish the Highlander, and I've made Hamish, and I made him in time for Burns Night last year. Now Burns is a Scottish celebration, and this Burns Night I've managed to get him ready in his little outfit. So I did have it I think I'd had it managed to finish making it maybe a couple of days before Burns Night, but I didn't share him till actually on Burns Night. Now if you watched my video last week, you know I haven't been feeling very well. Now I have been plodding along all week, and I even went to figure skating practice yesterday, so I've really been getting on with it. However, last night I couldn't stay awake, and I felt a bit rotten today, and I've actually come out with a rash on my torso today, so I don't know if it's a viral rash. I'm really hoping it's not the start of shingles, but yeah, I woke up feeling a bit achy. But yeah, I probably look a lot better than I actually feel, because my husband offered to take to the school run this morning, and I've had a nice shower and washed my hair and things, and had done a Barbie video, so yeah. But yeah, I'm not feeling wonderful, but I'm getting on with this. Anyway, I was making the Hamish's outfit when I really was feeling a lot worse than I feel now, and I made the shirt, and I wasn't very happy with the tie. Now I had a look at the picture of the designer, Sarah's, and her tie, not this tie by the way, it's white on the shirt, I'll show you in a moment, looked a lot chunkier than mine. And I had a look at the pattern piece, and I've read it time and time again, and I did exactly what it said, but it just comes out thinner than the picture of Sarah's. And I'll show you what it looks like, and it came out like that. Now I really didn't like how it looked because of the style of the shirt. It was all kind of gaping open here, and he looked more like Rodney from Emmerdale. I don't know if you watch Emmerdale, and I didn't like it. So I was feeling a bit flat. I felt like the Dementors had been in and sucked all the happiness out of me. That's how bad it made me feel. And then it was the thought of having to iron all these pleats. Anyway, I was making the kilt, feeling really rotten, ironing these pleats, desperate. I don't try and put too much pressure on myself in making things, because obviously it's a hobby, but I really wanted this done for Burns Night. Anyway, I don't think I did the pleats right, and I'd left this gap, I'd pinned them in the right places, and I left this 1 centimetre gap. But I was thinking, there should only be so many pleats, and I've got that many already, and I've got all this fabric left, so I think I did it wrong. However, the beauty of doing it wrong is I had fabric left, which meant I was able to make a thicker tie in the matching fabric, which covered the tie that I really wasn't keen on. And I managed to make this little thing to go on him, and I got the hot glue gun out, and I've got these little things. I don't even know where they came from. Do you know, I think I've bought buttons from Hobbycraft in the past, and some of them haven't been buttons, they've had just been these things, and they've got nothing. I couldn't do nothing with them, so I've just hot glued that on, and it's really adorable, this kilt. Now I bought this outfit as kit form from Sarah, and it came with the pin and everything. But these, obviously, if you've seen, I'll show you a photograph of what Sarah's looks like, so you can see, and I'll put mine up on the screen. Obviously Sarah's doesn't have this, and Sarah doesn't have this bit. I've just added those because I wasn't very happy. That I just did because I wanted to. That is because I wasn't entirely happy with the skinny straps on it. But yeah, but he looks lovely. I felt like, when I photographed him, like a proud mother, because obviously I've had him for a year with him naked, and I felt like a proud mother when you dress your child up in the school uniform for the first time. And yeah, and he looks lovely, and I'll share the photograph with you of what I've posted on social media, and I'm really very proud. Now the next animal I'm going to be making of this series is Ziggy the Hedgehog, so that I plan to make him hopefully in February, so that will be nice, won't it? Now I have photographed, this is knitting, my Arnie and Carlos, sorry about the noise, my next door neighbours are having work done. Hopefully they don't get too noisy. I might have to cut a bit out here and there. I've photographed the 1st of December jumper now, but I won't be posting those on social media. I'll just be posting them on Ravelry. So I will leave basically a link in the description of this video, a link to my Ravelry, where I will be posting regular updates of those jumpers. I will be telling you on YouTube, but I won't be posting those on social media. I'm going to save those for December, basically. So I hope you understand. Now I haven't done any more work. I showed you that I'd started the 2nd of December jumper in my video last week, but I haven't actually done any more of that, and you'll understand why. It's because I've got a knitting project going on in the car, which I'll show you. I've made some more progress on, but I've been crocheting in the evening and doing a bit of hand stitching, so I will show you what I've finished. So you've already seen that I'm crocheting the Cozy Cabin doll by Toft, and I've shared a photograph with you, and I've showed you in person all the little things that I've made for this doll. And then I later found out I was supposed to make the doll first, then make the clothing, because you put the jumper on and then you're meant to crochet the collar on. But I managed to get around it by crocheting the doll with and making the arms, and then putting the doll inside, and then up to the neck, and then I crocheted the head with the jumper on. And yeah, and basically she's all finished. Now the Cozy Cabin doll was supposed to have dark hair, and I wanted blonde hair to look more like myself, because you know, I was always planning on making minis. I already made my youngest son, which I've shown you before. This is my youngest son. Now this was based on when we went on a holiday abroad, and he was absolutely crazy for doing the scuba diving, and he's crazy for sea creatures. So that's his doll. His hair, I've crocheted his hair in and not attached any hair, but his hair is a lot longer now. He has like a fringe down to his eyes. I should probably put him with a guitar, really. He's the guitar boy now, isn't he? So yeah, you saw him over Stitchmas doing Feliz Navidad at school on his own, and I did share a video of him playing a few Metallica songs next door, and actually he was a bit disappointed that I missed one of them. I didn't video one of them, but I was drinking at the time, so my video skills probably weren't at their best. Well, anyway, now I've got my doll, but she won't be able to be undressed, not like my son's doll, because basically, is he naked? Yeah, he's totally skin coloured, and so I can basically start all over again with him. Now this one, she's got like a t-shirt knitted in, and anyway, here she is. I'm gonna talking about her. I'll give her a good show. Well, I ended up using a different yarn for a hair colour, because it was too yellow looking, the yellow, like a bee colour yellow. So I used, what did I use? Was it camel? It might be camel, I'm not quite sure, but I used one that it might have been the skin colour that I use for my son. Basically, he did point out that he looked very white, and I must admit, I don't know if I've crocheted a different tension. His looks smaller, but I've crocheted him from, I'll get my doll back out in a minute, from the doll book, you see. And how I got his outfit, there was an advent calendar in a crochet magazine, and I got some additional patterns called the Edwards Emporium bonus patterns, and that's how I got the snorkeler outfit. And there was all these additional patterns, so that was a fun thing to get. So but yeah, maybe the dolls are slightly different now, but I bought the doll as a kit in December. She was a new release, and I downloaded it, and that's what the doll should look like. Now she's lovely, isn't she? Now she's got her, I did the advanced hands, so she's got the fingers, because you don't have to, you can do a basic one. She's got her little cuppa, she's got her mittens. Now you were supposed to do six chain and these transverse slip stitches. I did 12. I felt like it needed to be a little bit longer. And there's her other mitten. Now I've just pinned this hot water bottle and hand, so she looks like she's holding it to her body. And yeah, and I give her safety eyes, because the eyes on this one, she has embroidered them, but I'd given my son's doll the safety eyes, so yeah, I wanted the safety eyes too. So that's what she looks like at the back. A little t-shirt pokes through. That's basically her body. She has got white bits on her arms, and her legs are all totally skin colour actually. Now she's got her slippers on. Now I have taken a photograph and I haven't posted this on social media. I've saved this for this video, so I'll pop the picture up on the screen, and again I'll share all these at the end as well. But yeah, her slippers come off. Now I was really excited about crocheting some socks, but you crochet them on, so I'll take a photograph. No, I've got a photograph of what the leg looked like before I had these added extra bits. So basically, hopefully it's coming up on the screen, you use a skin colour and then you turn to the silver grey colour, and then you basically, after you make it, you do all this bit. It's kind of like a flap look, and you just crochet, you attach it here and crochet it on like that. And aren't the trousers fab? I think I need some crochet trousers or knitted trousers. And the jumper's lovely. Now I must admit, the dodgy thing of crocheting the doll first and then the clothes, are they going to fit? Now I must admit, I ended up, because I'd crochet up to the neck, I took stuffing out of this doll to fit it in the clothes better, because they would have been rather snug if I hadn't have done that. And I'm really glad I did. But yeah, she's really lovely, isn't she? I'm so chuffed with her. She's meant to be about 30 something hours work. I couldn't honestly say how long she's taken me, because I've just done it in bits and bobs, and I'm really glad I kind of did the clothes first, because they're a tad more complicated and the doll feels way more basic, apart from when I get to the head, because I could have just done a plain skin colour head, but I didn't. I actually crocheted the hair in like I did with my son's one, so I didn't have to basically put loads of hair. So if I get any gaps like this, look, it doesn't matter, because if you basically put hair all over the head, it ends up too thick, which I've found out from other knitted dolls and things I've made. Actually, I'll grab a couple. I've got some Arnie and Carlos ones here. This is my first one I made, and look, she's just got a mane of hair because I've covered it all over. And let me get Ingrid. No, it is Ingrid. I was forgetting her because my husband calls me Helga, and because I plait my hair, he says a lot, you know, like Swedish or, you know, Scandinavian or Norwegian or something, you know, basically Scandinavian. But this, so he calls me Helga, but this is Ingrid. Now Ingrid has got hair all over her head, and look at it. There's loads. So that's what happens when you attach too much hair. You end up with too much hair basically, but I could thin these out. They're fat, like I especially, now this one looks, these are supposed to be the same doll, but I think I might have knitted the doll out of their Easter book, or their knit and crochet garden. I think I was following that pattern, and that's why it ended up a bit smaller, but I did this out of their actual doll book. So, so as I say, those are my knitted dolls. I'll just pop them back. They live in here, they do. So anyway, so yeah, so that's my crochet doll, and I'm really happy to show you. Now I'll show you what I've got left of the yarn. I've got that much of the silver grey. Actually, I can show you how much I started with. So it is kind of yarn heavy, this doll. I'm sorry about all the drilling in the background. Now it shows you all the yarn you need. So you need 2 of these silver grey colours, and that's all I've got left. I think I have anyway, unless it's got mixed up with my stash. You need 2 balls of cream, and that's all I've got left, that bit. You need 2 balls of the skin colour. That's all I've got left, and that's camel. So I didn't use camel for the hair colour. Oh, oatmeal. That's what colour his skin is. I'm going to put him back in the stand actually. So Jack is oatmeal, and as is my hair colour. Now normally my hair would be plaited, but I'm only a bit fancy because I say I did the doll diaries and it was like a hair special video. And you need 2 of the sapphire, but that's all I've got left. A tiny little bit. I haven't weighed these. You can weigh your yarn. These start off as 50 gram balls, and so I can weigh to see exactly what I've got left. And you needed 1 ball of the shale, which is like a darker grey. That was a 25 gram ball, and that's what I've got left. But as I say, I haven't weighed them. Maybe I could weigh them and put them on the screen, but if I don't, please don't hold me to it, because obviously that's way more editing I'd have to do. So I hope you've liked seeing my crochet doll finally be complete. It was really exciting showing you. Now Toft do a doll club. So you get different dolls. I've not ever joined her club. I've only ever, as I say, had those additional patterns, and I've got the doll book. And the doll book is so much fun. I'll just take these bits of paper out. It's very much like one of those books when you're a little girl and you can change the heads and things. So there's all these different heads. See what happens if you don't put the colour in? You can get gaps. So that's a nice head, isn't it? So if I change, so she looks very French there, doesn't she? A roller skater. So there's lots and lots of patterns in here. It's really a lovely book. So, but unfortunately, my doll won't be getting any other outfits because her clothes are not removable, which is a shame. So, we're going to move on to, shall we do, I'll do one more knitted item actually, but I've not finished it. Now, I did show you this last week. I am knitting a bow. Oh, my gloves are in here. This is my my knitting bag that Lindsay made for me, and it's Barbie. Look at the fabric. I'm getting a notification to say my bank balance is low. Well, that's nice. And it's actually telling me there's more money in there than there actually is. So it's telling me I'm better off than I am. Right, so this is my progress. Now, does it look longer than last week? It should do, but I haven't done as much waiting around for my son as I did the previous week. Oh, excuse me, I'm just going to have a sip of water. Now, as I told you last week, I am knitting a bow from Petite Knit, and that is what it looks like, and it's lovely. And they've put it on, she's put it on a leather label, and I got the pattern from now I keep saying, now this is English for the insane again. Now I say many words wrong, and I've been saying Ravelry, no, Ravelry I think I say, and my husband said, isn't it Ravelry? And I said, yeah, it probably is. I think I've been saying Ravelry, and it's Ravelry. I think that's how you say it. So I've probably been saying it wrong for ages, so I do apologise. But yeah, I got the pattern from there. Now, I might make it into a hair bow, I don't know yet. Or I might put a strap on it and hang it as a bag charm, or hang it on a basket or something like that. And basically, I've got to keep going with this until it measures 50 centimetres. So I've now added a tape measure to my knitting bag. I don't think I've got to worry for a while, in all honesty. I don't think I'm anywhere near 50 centimetres. But I think when it reaches 50 centimetres, then you start doing the decreasing. And then I think you might have to knit a little piece for the middle. I'm not sure because I haven't got that far yet. So I've got a nice strawberry stitch marker. Actually, this strawberry stitch marker was broken. It was one I had free from a magazine. There was no metal on it, and it was silver, but I actually fixed it. I've put a gold thing on it. I've attached all these, and I've put like a lobster, is a lobster claw, like a very wide one, and it actually looks better than it did before, actually. So anyway, I'll measure this. So what I can do is we'll measure it next week if I haven't finished it. Yeah, we're at 31 centimetres roughly, if I'm holding that right. It does look a bit wiggly. Well, 31, something like that. So we know for sure now. So next week, hopefully it's going to be a bit longer. But as I say, this is the project to take out and about, and I'm knitting it in the car. I'm in no rush, and I listen to audio books. So I listen to Harry Potter while I'm out and about. The books I've already read. I've read them in paper before. I'm rereading them on Audible. And in the house, I have another book on Audible on my iPad, and I've just finished watching, on the day I finished The Doll, actually, it was a day of finishing things, Pippi Longstocking. But it turns out she's got more than one book, but I've actually moved on now. So I've started The Borrowers, because I've got The Borrower movie on my hard drive on Sky, and I thought, I'd really like to read the book first. So that's what I'm doing. I'm so sorry about the hammering, but it was like, it's either do this with the hammering or not at all, unfortunately. So let's move on to some sewing, and I do think this is rather exciting. Let me grab a few things. Right, I've got fabric in here, finish things in here, and patterns in here. So what I've been doing, I've been collecting a few patterns for my little miniature things. I've been printing them out, sticking them onto card, and cutting them out and labelling them. I've been reusing the sandwich bags I used at Christmas. I washed them out, I dried them, and now I'm using them to label my little patterns and things. So that's handy. And you've seen a little bit of what I've made already from these little patterns. Now, I showed you that I purchased a pattern for some little tiny mice from Little Arkington. It's the miniature mouse family. Now, unfortunately, I purchased the wrong pattern, and the pattern didn't have any instructions. So rather than buy the pattern again at an even higher price, I bought the designer's mouse. It's a Christmas decoration, and it was cheaper than buying this again with the instructions. And she said, yes, the instructions are exactly the same for the Christmas decoration, but it won't include the baby. And I thought, well, I could figure the baby out, that won't matter. And actually this includes a shape to make a scarf. It's not knitted, I think it's made in felt, which I've not made. I've not made the Christmas decoration, by the way, but I did make some mice. Now, that mouse is one size, but there's actually there's 4 sizes. There's actually 4 sizes of mice in this one. There's meant to be parent size mice, older brother and sister kind of size mice, younger brother and sister size mice, and baby mice basically. And you've seen 2 I've made already, and I've made the youngest brother and sister. I want to show you those again, but I have made more. So here they are. And they're lovely, aren't they? They're so sweet, and I really enjoyed making them. They, you know, little things are fiddly to make, but I did enjoy making these. The arms you you know, you put on after you've made it, it makes it a tad easier, and the legs you kind of stuff in at the very end when you're sewing up the bottom, and the ears you would attach. You know, after you made them onto them, and they're really lovely. Now I have made an alteration to the ears to my liking on this little girl one. This was the mouse I made first, which originally had the dress on, but now it's got shorts on. Now these patterns do not come with clothes, so I went on and I explained this in my last video, and I found another designer on Etsy, because these are meant to be the same as the male EG mice, the ones I fell in love with, the ones that you purchase, and I just wanted to recreate them because they're rather expensive. I don't have any small people. I wanted them basically for myself, maybe for future grandchildren and things. So maybe when I've got future grandchildren I'd spend some money, but I've used basically my scraps from past projects and things. So I went on and purchased this pattern, and it's patterns for 5-inch mouse clothing, and I showed you this last week and the week before. I showed both patterns basically the last 2 weeks I think, and I went on and I made the shorts and the dress. Now this designer of this recommends you printing them out in the size they come in and 10% bigger to make larger mouse clothing. So that is what I did. So anyway, this designer also had a mouse pattern which I purchased, which I did tell you about, and I've actually gone on to make a mouse. Now I've made the mouse, which I'm going to show you in a minute, and she has come out bigger than these. Now these are supposed to be the youngest children, one up from the baby. So I was expecting this mouse to come out bigger. So I made a dress in advance, but I actually used the one that was 10% bigger. But maybe I didn't need it to be 10% bigger, I don't know, but just because I thought this mouse is going to be bigger, I suspect. So anyway, so I made the dress in the 10% bigger size, not knowing if I needed to, and I made the mouse, and I've got her here. I've got a little thread end I can see, so I'm just going to snip that off. Can't be showing you like that, can I? And here she is. So she's got a little dress on, which the dresses are from the same designer, but this one is like a sleeveless, and this one has got like a ribboned casing. But I've actually put elastic in this one, and this one has got sleeves, and I've actually put a tail on this mouse with some twine. Now what I will say about this mouse, and I've added a little head tie. Now this head tie pattern isn't in that pattern. I'll show you what pattern it has come from, but it hasn't come from that one. But yeah, she looks lovely. Now this mouse probably does look a tad more like the male EG. Now I've looked at the I think they might be called male EG or male. I don't know how you pronounce it, but the mother and the older brother and sister mouse of those shop bought ones have a gusset on the front of them, like this one. They have a front gusset. Their arms are all sewn in, like this one is sewn in. You don't attach them after. Everything is sewn in. And I've got a seam around the neck on this one, which I haven't on these, look. So these do look very much like the parent and the older child. Now in the face, these look like the younger brother and sister, and the baby faces of the male, e.g. or male leg, however you say them. I'll put it up on the screen how you spell it, and you can decide to yourself. So that, you know, they kind of both look like that brand, but these obviously, because that's why I made the bigger dress, because these just looked so much bigger. Now, and maybe, you know, you can make them smaller by how much you tuck the legs in. Now, what I did find this mouse trickier to make than these. I know she's bigger, but yeah, it is a harder construction. And if I made this particular mouse again, I probably would stuff the legs in at the end, because you leave a turning gap on the side and leave all the limbs sticking out, which I've done on larger animals. But I would prefer to basically, you could even attach the head at the end. You wouldn't have to sew it in at that time if you didn't want to, is my personal opinion. And you could always add the legs at the very end and have your seam open at the bottom. That might make the project a tad easier. But yeah, but I did manage it, despite it being she being rather difficult. I did manage to get her sorted in the end. Anyway, I wanted to make the mouse, the other size mice, so these. So I've made one parent, and I'm guessing this might be the mother because of her ears. Now I'm starting to run out of that pink, that peachy pink colour for the inside of the ears. So I went with something a bit floral. So this one I didn't do a contrast, I did it the same, so you can do that. I've given her some Liberty ears. So here is the mother of those children, but she doesn't have any clothes at the moment. I haven't given her a tail either, actually. Whether I do or not, I don't know, because I'm going to clothe them. But I'll just show you the size difference between mother and youngest child. So that's how they're looking. So there is a mouse that sits in between, who is an older child as well. So I'll just compare the mother with these. Now these are very similar. Now this one could be a little bit smaller because I've sewn this with a slightly bigger seam allowance, because I actually couldn't turn the first leg out the right way because of how tiny it is. So I had to do it, you know, slightly smaller, and I put this on my review on Etsy, and actually the designer was really appreciative of my review and actually messaged me, and I told her that I was sharing them on YouTube, and she's actually watched my recent video, and she gave me some really lovely feedback. So if you're watching again, Laura, thank you so much for watching my video, and yeah, I hope you've liked seeing your creations that you've designed come to life. So obviously this is your pattern and your dress, and obviously the clothes are on these mice. I know these aren't yours, but your clothes are on these mice. So anyway, so that is where I was at with those, but I've actually made two more. Now this is cuteness overload. So I'm yet to make a father, I'm yet to dress the mother, I haven't made the older brother or sister yet, but gosh, where are they? Oh, they're here. Oh, I could see this little box. I know they're in a little box. I thought, oh, where have they gone? That's the lid. Ta-da! I have babies. Tiny, tiny babies. Now, I must admit, the reason I've got two already, I was going to make one. Now, I started to make one, and I've used Tilda fabric for this little girl. Isn't she lovely? Right, but I had no instructions. I had to make it, and then I made the head, and I made the body, I made the arms, and I thought, oh gosh, I can't actually sew this head in, because I was trying to put it in a bit like what you do with this. I thought, I can't do this, and I put it aside. So then I went on and I made another one, but the way you do it, where you sew the one half of the head onto the fabric and then the other half of the head onto that fabric and then sew it together, was a lot easier. But then you have a sideways head. The head doesn't face forward. Anyway, I didn't know if that what the designer wanted, but I've had a look at the pattern, and her baby heads are sideways. None of her baby heads do face forward. So actually, but then I decided I think I don't want this to go to waste. So I made some new arms, made sure I made enough ears, and basically, yeah, so I've got 2 babies. So one is the way it should be. Let me look at the time, yeah. One is the way it should be, looking to the side like that, and one she's facing forward. But I think that looks really cute anyway. And if you buy the May leg or May Lee ones, they do come in little boxes, but I'm going to make a bassinet for these. These have actually been in my wooden dollhouse. I've got a wooden dollhouse that I intended to use for like Barbie and Harry Potter dolls and things, but all these little mice have actually been in the doll's house. But yeah, but it's rather large, this doll house, as you may have seen on my doll diaries. But yes, I could include these in the doll diaries. Hopefully some of the doll diary people that don't watch my Stitch Diaries, maybe it'd be lovely if they visited these videos as well, wouldn't it? Because they may appreciate these. Oh, I'm dropping the poor little things. So as I say, I've got a father to make, some older children, and more patterns, right? More patterns. So I still haven't made, I will make a Christmas mouse, a white one. So I still haven't made the other mouse. Let me find it. Now you saw that I purchased another one last week, but I haven't made her yet. And it's Mari Loves Linen, and it's another pattern on Etsy. Now these mice, they're supposed to be tiny as well, and these come with actual clothes. So I am going to make the clothes, and I'm going to make these mice as well. But yeah, I'm sorry that I showed you these last week, but I haven't done them. But I've just been so busy. I've been crocheting like a crazy lady, making Hamish an outfit, making more mice. I think I've done incredibly well considering I've been poorly. I've got I'm hoping a viral rash. Hopefully it's not the start of shingles. I must admit it does look like shingles because my youngest son has had it, and yeah, and it is a bit funny. Yeah, I'm a bit worried. I put some hydrocortisone on it with 1% in it, and it has calmed it down a bit. So, but you can only use that on small areas and for a short space of time. So anyway, so this is a mouse that will be getting made. And now what I ended up doing is I thought I really want to know how the designer of Little Arkington makes her baby animals, but I didn't want to re-buy the pattern, so I saw she had another family. Right? She's got the miniature Dalmatian dog family. How cute are those? So I thought I'm going to see how does she make her babies. Now I've had a look at the instructions, and the size of them, they look very similar. They look the same, that they're going to be the same size as the mice, which is good, isn't it? They're interchangeable and things. But I didn't quite get the instructions. See, I'll show you the dogs. Look, their heads go to the side, look. But it doesn't really, I don't think the explanation really sunk in with me. Maybe it's my brain, but I just didn't get it. Because I must admit, I was making the mice slightly different. The designer, basically, the pattern line is the sewing line, and then she cuts them out. I leave them all on the fabric, and I sew them and I cut them out after. So I am making them slightly different anyway to how the designer suggests. But, because it's the way I like to do things on small things. But yeah, I just didn't get it, in all honesty. I didn't understand what the designer was kind of getting at, so I was no better off for buying the pattern for the baby instructions, really. But I could make some cute Dalmatians, so my future grandchildren, they might like dogs, mightn't they? And I can enjoy them in the meantime if I make them, can't I? So anyway, or any little visitors. But yeah, so I've got a dog family that's a future thing I can make. And I fell in love with another little mouse. Now, you haven't seen this. Now, I have had a look at the instructions, and this designer does look like she makes things how I make them. right. So yeah, so I've had a look at her. She's got some picture instructions, and it again is a little mouse, and it comes now. The differences between the Little Arkington, they're very similar as Little Arkington, and how you do the arms and the legs, different to the Laura Jean dolls, different. So they're very similar in the makeup of these, but there's a seam here, and you attach the head after, where the head is attached to this already, and but the good thing about it, which you could adapt this pattern to have a seam here if you wanted, you can actually have a different fabric for the tummy. Like you could with this one, you can have a different tummy fabric for these Laura Jean ones as well. But yeah, I'm gonna have a go with this one as well. I don't know if they're exactly the same size. The ears look a bit pointier, and they come with a pair of shorts, not the dress, but you can get the dress. I contacted the designer and she said you can have the dress if you're a subscriber to her Patreon. So yeah, but it's not a pattern as such. I think you have to kind of do it yourself, but she kind of tells you how to do it. So anyway, that's some more mice. So there's 2 mice I could make. I'm not desperate to do the dogs because I know they're going to be the same as these, but dogs, but I would like to make them in the near future. Now I found a designer that makes little animals as well, but I don't know if they're a bit bigger, because that's where I got this the pattern for the little head tie. It's rather big, and yeah, I think it's for a bigger animal. So I think I haven't got their patterns, but I've got some of the accessories. And the reason I got the accessories, they had a 3-pack of items, and they're baby items. Now unfortunately, baby animal items, unfortunately one of the pictures didn't print out. I had something go wrong, but it's to make a bassinet and a blanket. I know a blanket would be easy to make, a blanket for the babies. And there is a picture here, look, of the bassinet. So I thought those would be quite nice for the babies to go in, but I don't know how big this designer's babies are. So, but I've looked at the pattern pieces and they don't look too bad. So that's the bassinet I can make, and a blanket. You can also make a backpack. That's this other designer. This other designer makes a fox. They look similar, but I do think they are maybe a bit bigger. And they've got babies. The babies do look easier to make because they don't have any limbs. So yeah, they're just like a little square or a little blob basically. But yeah, you can make a backpack. I'll see if there's any other photographs of this. There's a picture there with a doll. Look at this, and she's got a little headscarf on, because this you can buy all these separately on Etsy, but I bought it as like a 3-pack. So I'd get the backpack, the bassinet, like the headscarf I could design myself, but you got the headscarf. So that's the one I made, and it does look smaller, doesn't it, on that animal to this mouse. And you got one for the baby, a tiny one. Now I did have problems with printing of this one. I didn't have it because these never want to print out. None of these patterns want to print out the right size, may I add. I have to change them. I have to make sure they're printing actual size. But I was able to send them to my printer app. But this one, it wouldn't go there for some reason. So on my iPad, but then I downloaded it onto my phone and put it in my printer app, and it did work that time. So yeah, I did manage to print it out the correct size. However, I've still got the printout, which is a version that's slightly smaller than that and slightly smaller than that. So that actually might be more suitable for these mice maybe. So yeah, I won't throw it away. I've just got a slightly different size one sitting under my scanner actually, so I will go back to it. Now I did treat myself to a knitting magazine while I was out and about in my local town, This might be the final thing actually, but I will leave you with a video at the very end. I'll put some music and I'll show you the things that are in today's video. I might include the picture of this little sweater in today's video, because when I did my little end piece for last week, I didn't actually put that in. But yeah, I'll put that in this one. Now, it was a Let's Knit magazine, and it came with the yarn kit to make Knit Your Perfect Pet. Now, how I'm going to get the time to do these as well, I do not know, but yes, I will squeeze this in, no doubt. Yeah, these little cats, it comes with the yarn you need. Now, I really liked some of the extras, like the little toys and basket and things, but unfortunately, the pattern isn't included for those. But I've read the pattern. Oh no, my pattern's got stuck. I don't need to rip anything off. I've got the pattern here, but it says on there we can get them off the website. Anyway, I checked the website at the time I purchased the magazine and they wasn't on there. However, I will go back on the Let's Knit website and see if that's been updated. But I got a little distracted while I was on there, and there was a free pattern for Jean Mouse. It's a knitting pattern. I don't know how big Jean is, but yeah, she's free on the Let's Knit website. So have a look if you're interested in knitting. You want to knit a little mouse with a little jacket, umbrella and boots and things. So yeah, that's fab, isn't it? So yeah, that's something I would like to knit in the future. Yeah, so I've got lots of fun things. I can see this year been a year of miniature. Now, I do enjoy dressmaking, and I'd say like year 2000, gosh, that was a big dressmaking year. Yeah, and then other years not so much, but yeah, I'm not saying this year isn't going to be a big dressmaking year, but I only need so many clothes, do you know what I'm saying? And I've only got so much space, so yeah, I will dressmake as and when I choose to, but I've got plenty of room in the doll's house for little creatures and things, haven't I? So anyway, this is something I could include in my doll diaries, but I will mention it here. Spellbound Miniatures, Lisa Peck, she's an author, she's got a book, she has got YouTube, she has got a Facebook group. She uses a Cricut machine to make miniature things, and Lisa has kindly gifted me the SVG file for the Arga, so I can make a Barbie size Arga with this, or even a smaller Arga, or whatever size I want basically. But my Cricut isn't as up to date as Lisa's, so I am going to cut out the templates on my Cricut, but I'm actually going to cut mine out with wood, and I've got like a tabletop saw thing, which I will show you in one of my videos. And yeah, I'm going to cut mine out with small thin pieces of wood to make it a bit more sturdy, because yeah, because my Cricut isn't quite as good as Lisa's. Maybe I could get a thicker blade, like a deep cut blade or something, but yeah, I'm going to be doing that in the future. So that was really kind of Lisa. So anyway, I am going to leave you with a video showing you all the things that I've hopefully most of the things that I've included in this video. I really hope there's something you've enjoyed seeing, and yeah, I'm really glad that this has ended up happening, because obviously with not being well, and hopefully this, like, it's itching me a little bit actually. Hopefully this rash doesn't get any worse. If it is shingles, it will spread. It will start spreading around my body, and that's what shingles does, because I've seen it in my youngest son. So fingers crossed it's not shingles. Hopefully it is just a virus. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Stitch Diaries, and hopefully I'll leave with that video, and I'll see you next week, and I will leave a link to my Ravelry account in the description box below, and I am on Instagram as well. I've got my doll diaries and my stitching basically Instagram as well. Maybe I'll put those up on the screen for you to see. And I am on Facebook. I've got a Facebook page as Claire Who Make Things, so you can follow me other places. So anyway, I'll leave you with that video, and thank you so much for joining me. Bye.